No one tells you this. Not in school, not in self-help books, not even in the corporate boardrooms or spiritual retreats where power is supposed to be taught. Every space you admire, leadership, success, love, influence, has a secret architecture, a silent game running beneath the surface. And here's the truth. Most people are playing that game without even realizing it. They follow the visible rules, the polite ones, the fair ones. But the real power? It lives in the shadows, in codes only the masters understand. This is the world most never see. And until you learn to decode it, you're not rising, you're surviving. Especially as a woman, where the rules are different, the perception tighter, and the margins of error smaller. But there is a way out, and it begins with one decision: to stop playing the game blindly, to learn it better than anyone else, and then flip it. Part 1. The Invisible System. Imagine walking into a chess match where the board is hidden, the rules aren't explained, and every move you make is silently judged. That's how most people operate in life, especially women who are often taught to lead with harmony, empathy, and approval-seeking. But here's the paradox. The world rewards structure, not sentiment. It bows to clarity, precision, and strategy, not just effort. The systems of power, business, politics, relationships don't run on fairness. They run on influence, on knowing the hidden script behind people's actions. Reverse intelligence begins when you stop trying to win with effort alone and start learning the actual system. You must become obsessed. Study the rules, not to obey them, but to dissect them. Peel back the polite surface until you find the real mechanics, where perception is currency, where silence is often louder than words, where knowing what not to say is more powerful than the perfect speech. Part 2. Map the terrain. Every field has its own terrain, its own power structure. If you don't map it, you'll be manipulated by it. In corporate environments, for instance, women are often encouraged to be collaborative, but the power moves are made in quiet deals, not team meetings. In relationships, we're told to communicate openly, but real influence is understanding timing, tone, and emotional leverage. Step 1 is observation. Before you speak, watch. Before you assert, listen. Look beyond the surface. Who holds true influence here? Who speaks rarely but is obeyed instantly? Who seems warm but makes people nervous when they enter the room? These are your clues. Power leaves fingerprints, but only if you know what to look for. Part 3. Master the language. Words aren't just sounds, they're weapons. Every domain, whether romantic, professional, or social, has its own language of control. Learn it. In business, it's the language of leverage, deadlines, opportunity cost, deal framing. In social spaces, it's emotional positioning, making others feel seen while never surrendering your ground. And in relationships, it's the subtle dance of tension and release. Not begging for love, but creating a space where it wants to be. Mastering the language means you don't just talk. You frame, you signal, you make silence feel like power. Most people speak to be understood. The master speaks to direct perception. Part 4. Predict human patterns. People aren't as complex as they think. Even the most intelligent ones are driven by patterns, emotional scripts wired into their psychology. And those patterns, they can be predicted. The key is to study them like a scientist. What triggers their defensiveness? What makes them soften? What fears drive their choices? What does their body language betray when their words say the opposite? This step, for women especially, is dangerous in its power. Because when you understand how people truly work, you don't just respond, you direct. You make yourself unreadable and make others transparent. Part 5. Turn weakness into strategy. We're taught to hide our flaws, to conceal doubt, pain, even softness. But the master of reverse intelligence knows your weakness, when wielded with precision, becomes your sharpest tool. When you openly admit what others expect you to hide, you disarm them. They don't know where to aim. Their power collapses in confusion. You can weaponize your softness. You can turn your vulnerability into a mirror that exposes others. A woman who owns her insecurities becomes unstoppable because she is no longer manageable, and the system can only control what it understands. Part 6. Invert the script. The system expects you to follow the script. As a woman, the script says, be agreeable, be grateful, be pleasing. But true power begins when you learn to flip the narrative. If they expect you to ask, offer instead. If they expect you to react, wait. If they expect you to shrink, stand still. Not louder, just unshakable. Inversion is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's strategy. It's about breaking the rhythm others expect so they're forced to respond on your terms. This is how the silent rise, not by shouting over the world, but by rewiring it. Part 7. Strategic withdrawal. Power isn't gained by endless motion. Sometimes the most potent move is retreat, but not in surrender, in patience. Let the noise tire itself out. Let the overconfident reveal their full hand. Let the assumptions pile up. Then move once and reshape the entire field. This is especially true for women, who are often pressured to perform constantly just to be seen. But strategic invisibility, that's a higher form of dominance. Because when you reappear, it's not for validation. It's to reshape the outcome. Part 8. Control perception, control reality. Perception is the battleground of all power. You don't need to be the strongest. You need to look unshakable. You don't need to speak first. You need to speak last. People don't act on facts, they act on stories. And if you control the story, you control the system. This is how reverse intelligence works. It's not just thinking differently. It's seeing through the surface of things and making that vision reality. Most people live inside the system. They obey it. They perform for it. They try to win within its limits. But the master, the one with reverse intelligence, she doesn't just win. She rewrites the rules. You're not here to survive the system. You're here to reprogram it. This is ember of reason. If this spoke to something deep in you, like subscribe and share it with someone ready to wake up, because the real game starts now.